Today I have a bit of a special package for us. I actually managed to buy 19 graphics cards for the price of, in Swiss francs, 73 Swiss francs shipped, which would yield around $90 shipped for 19 graphics cards. However, they are labeled as untested, unknown if they are working, and also there are some models in there that I am not sure what they actually are, because they were not specifically listed on the listing. So they were kind of listed as unknown around these 19 cards. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to unpack them and check out what they are, and also whether they will work. For instance, if they will actually post and give me the signal, and whether they are going to work. Okay, so this one will be a special one, because that one is a water-cooled model, just by the touch of it. And I think this is one of the cards that I'm legitimately not sure what they are. So first impression, yeah, looks a little rough. We have the bracket a little bent, and this is the card. So from my research that I did based around the caps and the fan headers on the PCB, I managed to figure out that this must be a GTX 580 and it must be a Gainward model. However, there are two different kinds of GTX 580s around from the Gainward era, and they have either 1.5 or 3 gigabytes of video memory. So what I'm going to do now first is I'm just going to go and bend this bracket back. Well, it looks like brand new again. Yeah. Being honest, it does look a little rough, but should be all right. We're going to test that one out. And what do we have next? Oh, I have to give props to the seller for actually packing them properly. They gave each one of the cards a separate envelope. Oh yeah, okay. This one must be the GTX 970. And it is nasty. Oh man. I mean, when you just take a close look in there, what it looks like, there are like balls of dust and grime inside of the card. And also this IO bracket is very bent too and is missing out on the screw, which is not giving me much hope. Yeah, okay. This one is really nasty. I don't know if it will. Honestly, in all of the years that I have experience with PC parts, the first condition doesn't really tell you if it is working or not, because sometimes they're just neglected, but still working. So this one is this one is a GTX 970. It states right there underneath the heatsink, just above the PCI slot. And 970 WindForce 3 OC, 4 GB. If this card works, it will actually make up for nearly half of the cost that I have on this package of 19 cards. So yeah, fingers crossed. Alright, so dirt and grind through something I don't enjoy. This one is gonna be another water-cooled one. Okay, so this one will be interesting because it is, from my research, it must be a 700 series card, It can be a 780, 780 Ti, a Titan, or a Titan Black. and maybe it doesn't really tell anything just from the looks of it. What I can tell though is that the HDMI port is rather bent. Yeah, okay, that's not looking great. I'll have to check this out. Yeah. Anyways, so these are 3 of the 19 cards. The rest of the cards will be in this box, and what I'm gonna do now, I'm just gonna go ahead and test out these 3 cards to see if they are going to work or not, which will be, you know, the first round of this lot of graphics cards that I bought. All right, so this one is the 700 series card, which I just bent back the HDMI ports to hopefully make it connect or even work. Working would be great. Connecting is one step in the right direction, but you know. And also hopefully it will not trip my... One moment. We got an air dryer in here in the room because this is actually a cellar that I'm using, and I had to turn it off because it's very annoying. One thing, just want to show you, this is probably a Titan, because when we sneak in a look in here, we can see that it is a sandwich memory design, so having memory models in the front and on the back of the card, which means this is more than just a 3 GB card. But was there a 780 with 6 gigs? I am not sure, because basically the Titan is a 780 with 6 gigs. Yeah, we'll find out. Hopefully it doesn't trip my power supply and short out the system, and hopefully it gives out a signal, which would be great, because if this card works, it will actually probably make up for nearly the entire box of cards. But I am not very optimistic because it looks very rough. Yeah. Oh, all right. We are getting a signal here. That's looking half promising. Yeah, it is. This PC should actually have the drivers installed already. Question is, will it actually load the drivers? It will always take a little bit for it to initialize. So it is still initializing. Oh, if it works, if it would work, that would be awesome. Having a Titan in this box that is working would be great. All right, it did try something, but yes, boys, we have the Titan. Yeah, man, this is not looking bad. I'm just gonna give you a bit more. So we have got ourselves a Titan inside of this box for $90 US, 19 graphics cards, and the first card is working. And it is even working off the HDMI port that I bent back with my screwdriver, which is probably, yeah. Actually, I should hurry up a little bit because I know this card doesn't have a working water cooler on it right now. It is just basically saturating the block. It is a regular Titan. It is not the Titan Black, which would have been even better, but yeah, I will take that. And I will just run Heaven at its probably most demanding settings just to see if the memory is fine and the core is fine, that it is actually not a completely bricked card after all. But this is looking very, very good. Yep. Awesome. Please work. Yep. Yes. Yeah, man. It is working. Temps are shooting up, so I'm just gonna quit the benchmark. This card is fully working, which is amazing. So this is amazing. So what I'm definitely gonna do is, just by the looks of it, I can tell that the block is in very rough shape, meaning I will do a full maintenance work on this card. I will probably also do a video around it, showing people how to actually disassemble a GPU water block and how to clean it with household items, so everyone can actually replicate that with older blocks, because they do tend to get clawed up. As far as I can tell, this must have run with red fluid in there, so there is some sediment inside of this fluid which needs to be removed. Also, I need to check if the nickel plating is still all right, and probably thermal paste and pads need to be replaced too, just to get it a basically as new setup again. This is the Titan. It is working. So next card will be the 970, because I already have the drivers on it. This is the rough card. Boy, it is really rough. Oh man, this is one rancid graphics card. It is full of grimy dust, probably coming from a smoker's environment. Yeah, not looking great, but maybe it's gonna work. Because let's be honest, if this card works together with the Titan, I will already have made up for the entire cost of this box of graphics cards. So that would be awesome. Let's turn that on and see what we get. Okay, fans are spinning and they are running fine. They are not broken. They are not scratching. So the bearings should be all right too, which is great. And you know what? We're getting a signal, man. This is looking incredible. Okay. Will it load the drivers though? Will it load the drivers? Let me check. Let's go into device manager just to see. It is still initializing. We'll give it a sec. Man, but this card is in a really rough condition. Yeah, that's looking good. Still not fully initialized, but it is getting there, I think. Yes, yes, we got the 970. It posts, it initializes with the drivers. Will it run a benchmark fine? Oh, I am not confident, because I can see some dots in the screen that are flickering. I'm fairly certain that you cannot, because of compression on this video on YouTube and through the camera, probably not pick up the issue. But I think we may have a broken core, or an unstable core, or an unstable memory chip, but we will find out very soon. Or is it just the display connector? That might be totally it, right? Because this seems to be running fine. And well, actually. Even temps are fine, which is, considering the condition of this card, it would be amazing if it just ran fine without any issues. Well, it seems like it. So this is the 970 running Heaven benchmark at very high settings, and it seems to be running just fine, man. It is at 57 degrees Celsius right now, and yeah, no errors yet. That's all right. That's actually good enough for me right now, because I don't want to jinx it. I don't also want to, you know, challenge my luck too much. I first want to clean the cart, give it full maintenance work, and then test it properly, because then I'm more confident that nothing will short out from all the dust around it. And next up, so this is actually amazing. 2 out of 19 cards are working, and I basically already got my money worth inside of this box, which is insane. And also it gives me so much room to experiment on graphics cards, give you some content on how to clean air coolers, water blocks, how to test a card, maybe, you know, yeah, if you're interested into that. If not, I'm just not gonna do it. So this is the 580. And with this card, I'm not sure if the system already has the drivers installed, because I don't really run into Fermi graphics cards all that often anymore. They are getting very old. And yeah, let's see if it will actually work or not. So nothing shorted out. That's already a good one. And we're getting a signal. That's even better. What I now need to figure out is, will it initialize? And is it the 1.5 gig or the 3 gig variant? Because if it were the 3 gig variant, that would be awesome. I am fairly certain that I don't have the drivers on there yet, so I might just go ahead and install it manually. I think I do have the Fermi drivers on this drive. No, I don't. Okay. Alright, so I need to probably get it online. One sec. While I was installing the drivers, the screen went black and didn't come back, which, you know, sometimes with all the cards installing drivers, actually the screen does go black and then come back, but this time it did not. But when I'm touching the cooler, it is really hot, so probably the card overheated and turned itself off. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna let it sit for a while to cool off, and then turn the system back on again, and hope that the driver is still installed in the background, so I can actually just give it a very quick test to know if it is working or not. It might be broken though, so who knows? Who knows? We don't know. We'll figure out later. What I'm going to do now is because the weather outside is very good, I just want to clean the 970. And why is it related to weather? Well, I need to dry it outside after my, after my little treatment. I am now several hours later. I think the cooler will have cooled off by now. The question is, will it display an image now? will the driver have installed correctly in the background, even though, you know, the system froze basically, or the card froze. I don't know what exactly happened. It just went black, and yeah, it didn't show an image anymore. But the cooler was rather hot, so I'm hopeful that it just overheated while I was installing the drivers, and that caused the black screen. But we'll figure out in a few seconds. So yeah, that is not looking very promising. Okay, what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to so that is not very promising. The screen went black again, which is probably indicative of this card being broken. Well, let me use the DVI port, maybe that helps. Nope. I am going to give it a second try. Just need to shut down the system. It does post, but I think as soon as it gets into Windows and loads the driver, it is just giving out a black screen. Yeah. I'll try one more time using the DisplayPort connector on the card, but at this point I'm really not hopeful anymore. I think we may have a bricked card on our hands, which is, you know, it's kind of unfortunate, but it is the GTX 580, and out of the bunch that I already tested, I would, you know, if I had to choose one card that I would be the least unsatisfied if it didn't work, it would be the GTX 580. This is the oldest of the bunch and the one that isn't worth a whole lot anymore, especially if the water block, even though it's cool to have one, you know, a card with a water block on it, but what are you gonna do with it? You would have to build a custom water loop around it, which is really not worth it. Not worth your time and hassle. Is it even? It doesn't even give out an image using DisplayPort. Yeah, I think this one is done. I also clean it and maybe try one or two tricks on it, you know, getting the heat gun at the core and trying to reflux it in the janky method. That's really not the way you should do that, but yeah, I think this card is 1 out of 3 that is broken. I think this sums it up for today. I tested 3 out of 19 cards, which is not a whole lot, but you know, sometimes you get a curveball in there and you are not really progressing as fast as you want to. But overall, I'm rather happy. The 2 most valuable cards of the 3 are working, and one of which is a Titan, which is basically the best case scenario, because I was not sure which card it will be. It could have been a 780 or a 780 Ti, and if I had to choose one of the 3, I would have chosen the Titan, which is great, and it also works. The GTX 580 in the background there is probably broken. yeah, it just doesn't display any image anymore after installing drivers. And this one is the GTX 970 that I'm getting cleaned right now, because this one is very filthy. And yeah, but it is probably going to turn out very nicely. It also works perfectly, which is great. So basically my investment paid off. I already got basically, you know, my money is worth out of 3 cards from 19, so that's great. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one where I'm going to test out the other cards.